YouTube, it's Grace, and in this week's video I'm going to be painting my first ever black and white pixel painting. This painting is very similar to my last original painting because it's based off of a concert photo that I took. This is the reference image I'll be using, which is a photo of Last Dinosaurs that I took in October of 2022 when they were touring with Bad Sons. It ended up being one of my favorite black and white photos that I've taken of all time, and they are one of my favorite bands ever, so I decided to like combine the two, or combine the three, I guess, my love for this band, for pixel art, and for photography into this painting. It is a bit more detailed than my last concert photo that I painted, which had about 17,000 pixels, because this one has 23,000 pixels. But I absolutely love how it turned out, and I'm so excited to show you the process, so let's get into it. I am so excited for this painting. This is the original photo that the pixel art is going to be based on, and this is the pixelated version that I made. Now, it's a little bit scary because it is 136 by 170 pixels, so it is going to be even more pixelated than my last painting, which was the Good Kid painting, but I'm making it on the same size canvas, which is 16 by 20 inches. As always, the first thing I'm going to do is draw out the grid, which is going to take so much lead, it's not even funny, or graphite technically. People yell at me when I say the wrong word. And I have my yardstick here, so let's get to it. This is going to take like probably 90 minutes. It's insane. I'm gonna try to explain how I do the math for this because it might make sense to nobody except me. We have 136 by 170 pixels and 16 by 20 inches. I found that if I divide these up into smaller sections, that I'm able to keep the sizing of the pixels more consistent versus just trying to freehand 136 all the way across. If I divide it up and do 17 in each of these sections and 17 in each of these sections, then it just helps everything look nicer. I hope that makes sense. I just counted to 17 like so many times, but all these are ready, so now all I have to do is take my yardstick and connect all of these lines. And I'm finally done. My knees hurt so bad. I think this took like 75 minutes, but we did it. Now that this is completely done, it's time for primer, which I found this for my last painting and it worked super well. You could still see the pencil through it really easily. So I'm gonna be adding a thin layer of this clear primer. I love this primer because it almost kind of increases the contrast. It makes it easier to see everything. The only downside is it sort of smells like glue, which is a bit weird, but I'm gonna let this dry and then I'll come back and start on the paint. It's been about a day, so this has been drying, totally dry. Now it's time to start on the design, and honestly, I am really, really excited because although this painting does have more pixels than my last one, it was only going to have like 6 colors, I think. Black, dark gray, medium gray, lightish gray, lighter gray, and white. So I went ahead and got all these containers. They look a little bit messy, but all the paint in there is dry, so it's fine. And the paints I'm going to be using to mix these colors are titanium white, neutral gray, iridescent graphite, and permanent black. So I'm just gonna do my very best to mix these and make them as accurate as possible. I'm gonna start with the darkest because I think that would be easier. So I'm just going to put a whole bunch of black in here. And I don't want to use black straight from the bottle, so I'm going to mix it with a little bit of this iridescent graphite because I have not used this much yet and I feel like it'll give it a really cool effect. Now I'm just gonna mix this and see how it turns out. It's still black, but it has like a metallic kind of look to it, and I really like that. I think that's cool. Next, I'm gonna do dark gray. So I'm starting with a base of the neutral gray, putting a bunch of this in here, and then mixing it with black. Mixy, mixy. I might make this a little bit lighter, actually. Third color, this is like a medium dark gray. So I'm gonna start with gray as my base. Why is there paint all over my hand? That is not what I asked for. Okay, this color looks decent, but also I need way more of it, so I'm gonna have to mess it up. I don't think I've ever showed the process of how I mix colors, so if this maybe this gives you a little insight into how my brain works. Fourth color is a little bit of a lighter gray. Oh, please don't explode. That's not fun. I don't understand how the gray is already like running out because I feel like I just bought this. Future me editing this is gonna have such a fun time cutting out all the boring parts in this. I think this color looks good. Then the last gray color is just a super light gray. So I'm actually just gonna start with a base of white and add black to it. Bruh. And then the last color is just plain white. So here are all the colors that I ended up with. I think I'm pretty happy with them. They seem to gradient into each other pretty well. Now that I have all the colors made, I'm going to start blocking out the light gray in the top left corner because I think it'd be pretty easy to count. I made a little bit of progress, but I was running into some issues with counting. I think it's because I'm tired because I've had a very long day. All right, so a little bit of a time jump here. I decided to fix his face off camera because I miscounted something or messed up something and it just needed some attention. And I didn't really want to sacrifice half of my brain power into filming it, so yeah. But anyway, I'm going to move on to doing the microphone around here, which I have it super zoomed in right now, but I'm going to start by filling in the black pixels. Here's the progress I've made so far. It was kind of hard to find a stopping point exactly because all of the black pixels eventually fade into the bottom, and then here they fade all the way into this side, and I didn't want to spend the entire day just doing one color, so I had to pick a stopping point. And next I'm going to be working on his shirt, which is around this area. Here's the progress that I've made so far today. I got a bit of his shirt, mostly just the sleeve and his arm. I feel like this painting is gonna go by so much faster than my last one. For reference, I'm about 5.5 hours in total so far, but I just feel like I'm able to make progress so much faster because of the colors that are more simplified. Break is over, so time for round 2 of painting today, and I'm gonna start by working more on the black because there should be a whole bunch around this area and I just want to get it blocked out. It is the next day now and I'm just working on filling in more of the details with the black pixels. This is about an hour's worth of progress today. I just did a little bit of black detailing on the bottom right side, and then I filled in a whole bunch of white pixels, mostly on his shirt, but then kind of fading this way. I think the next thing I want to focus on is filling in this half of the canvas because most of it is just the background extending from here and getting darker, but there's also a bit more of his shirt down here that I need to finish, which looks like this on the reference, so I'm going to work on that next. Now that this side of the painting is blocked out for the most part, I'm going to move on to this area here because I actually have a second person that I haven't started blocking out yet. And for this, I think I'm going to start with the highlights and work my way down to the shadows. And here's the progress at the end of another day. My total time spent so far is just slightly under 9 hours, which, you know, sounds like a lot, but in comparison to my last painting, I feel like I'm making pretty good progress. It's now the next day and I'm working on blocking out the next microphone, which I am super zoomed in at this point. And then after I get this filled in, I'm going to start working more on the background. So bringing this black all the way up, I just needed to fill this in first so that I knew where to fill in around. The gradient for the background on the right side was so tedious, but this part is done and I think it's looking pretty good. So I'm gonna move on and do Sean's hair right now because he doesn't have any. And I think my strategy for this, since I'm gonna be using basically all of the colors in my color palette, is just starting with the darks and working my way up to the highlights. And I didn't really film that much, but the hair is done, so I'm going to move on to the shirt and finish the detailing in here and here. I'm pretty happy with how the shirt and the guitar strap are looking, so next I'm going to move on to this area here. I'm going to add some details in around the microphone and then fill in more of the background colors in this part. I think I did a pretty good job with this area, so I went ahead and did a little more blending on the background. I am really happy with the amount of progress I made today. However, my back hurts, so I'm done for today, and I'm hoping that tomorrow I can be equally as motivated and productive. It's the next day and I'm back. I've decided I'm going to focus on this part of the painting for today because there's a lot of details that I want to get filled in. So in the 75 minutes I had scheduled to paint today, I finished this section here. I still have this piece here and more of the background, but overall it's looking pretty good. And here is the reference for comparison. Another day, another painting opportunity. This time I'm going to focus on this section of the painting because I meant to do that yesterday, but then I kind of got carried away with this. This is looking so great, except I realized I made a mistake, which is when I was filling in the black in the bottom right corner, I accidentally left something out. I'm honestly not even sure what this is. Maybe it's like the background of a symbol. I'm not sure, but I accidentally filled this in. So I'm gonna try my best to sort of put it back, even though I can't really see the grid anymore. Considering I was solely basing the size of these pixels off muscle memory, I don't think it actually turned out too bad. And I'm getting very close to being done with the first coat, so I'm gonna take a little bit of a break and come back later tonight to try and finish the background up here, but I think it's turning out really good. Alright, it's been a couple hours and I'm back, and we are now on the final stretch of the first coat of this painting, so all I have to do is blend out these last few colors in the background. And this is the reference for reference. So let's get into it. The first coat is officially done and I can't get over how good this looks. I'm so happy with it. I guess the next step is getting started on the second coat. And I don't really have to remix any colors because I thankfully made more than enough the first go around. And for this, I'm just going to be focusing on cleaning up the lines and making the paint a bit more opaque. I think once I get all these colors down, the contrast is going to be really strong, which I really like, especially in my black and white photos. One thing I do think is important to note is that I'm going to be doing both my subjects first and then doing the background last. That's just because I want the lines around them to be as clean as possible, so I am saving it for the end. I think the lines are looking so much cleaner. The paint's looking more opaque. Overall, I'm really happy with how this is looking. I am a total of 27 hours in at this point. I'm so close to being done with the background, but I'm so tired right now. I'm just on this last color, so I think I'm gonna finish it tomorrow. And just like that, the background is done. So my next step is going to be going around and looking very closely to see if I missed any pixels or if any of them are like weird shapes or need the lines cleaned up, and doing that. Thankfully, that didn't end up taking too long, so I'm going to move on to the last step of this painting, which is blending, which I'm hoping also won't take super long because I don't plan on doing a lot. But there are a couple spots on this painting, like right here and right here, where I feel like the colors are just a little bit too contrast-y. So I'm going to mix them together in even parts to get a transition and just blend them out a little bit. It's very subtle, but this is how the blending color looks in the background. All I did was mix this and this together in even parts. You can see there are a few pixels kind of scattered in that transition to blend it out a little bit more. And now I'm working on doing the same thing with the black and the darkest gray. Alright, so I finished the blending and I think it's time for the grand reveal. Here it is. I love this so much. I feel like my theme is like really bright, vibrant colors, so I wasn't really sure how a black and white painting would turn out, but this is like so cool. Here's a close-up shot where you can see every little detail I added in this painting. And here it is from further back, so you can really get the effect of what it's supposed to look like. And I got prints made, which is super exciting. I had to delay this video by a week because it took me some time and some technical difficulties trying to figure out how to get these to look the way I wanted them to, but if you're interested in getting one for yourself, they are up on my Etsy right now. The total time I spent on this painting was about 32 hours, which is a lot less time than my last one, but still like pretty up there in terms of like time consumingness compared to my other paintings I've done. And I'll be displaying this painting next to this other one because this is like the order that the three of them stand on stage, and I think they look so cool together. If you're interested in seeing a higher quality photo of the painting that I just finished, I'll have one up on my Instagram here. But that pretty much concludes this video, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will hopefully see you in my next video where I think I'll be painting another Minecraft door. Bye!